My name is Jessica Calderon. I oversee policy and procedure out of our Office of Social Equity and Innovation, and then I work on various projects that involve collaboration among agencies, policy analysis, policy advocacy toward equity work and equitable outcomes for people who live in our city. Because of the work that we did in partnering with Peak, infusing equity into their process improvement, it's allowing individual employees across the city and teams to look at things through an equity lens and really ask those questions. Who is this benefiting? Who does it burden? Who are we leaving out? How do we mitigate any burden? And how do we plan for everyone? And so many of those are much more visible now that people are looking through an equity lens. One example is analyzing basic forms that people need to fill out to get their basic needs met. If language is a barrier, then it's going to compound any inequities that they're already facing and give them less access. So improving that and making sure that we have our forms accessible in the languages that are needed is an example of equity and creating equity.
I work for Denver Human Services. I support the technicians. We process applications, recertifications for clients that are applying for food and medical assistance. Every time I get a document, I put myself in that situation. Google Translate can break sometimes. If you enter like an entire phrase, some words are not getting there, some items are getting converted into a language that is not like the most proper or the most helpful. If we want to translate documents, why don't we just do it right? We're not only providing a great customer service, but we are also saving money to our clients. I want to help the community. That's what I'm here for. That's why I applied for this job, because I wanted to serve the community. And I also hope to inspire other co-workers that speak other languages and they feel comfortable translating.
Another example is looking at grant making for our community. When we give out grants, we need to look at who are the people who normally get funding and who are we leaving out? Who could we be leaving out? Smaller providers who maybe don't have as much access or as much staff to access the grant.
My name is Lorena Garcia. I'm the CEO of the Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition. We work in the 0 through 20 education spectrum. We're working to create equity in our systems, making sure that the students that are often pushed to the margins are seen as students that can equally succeed as everyone else. The Colorado Statewide Parent Coalition received a grant from the Office of Children Affairs to train 120 informal childcare providers. These informal childcare providers are the aunties and grandmas and the neighbors that care for specifically Latino children, Black children, children who aren't normally seen in licensed care facilities.
So the Office of Children's Affairs supports children along the lifespan, and what we do is we provide grants and awards to community members that are doing the work every single day. And our grant making process was really complex and difficult, and it just was too complicated for people to apply. Typically in a peak session, it's really qualitative. You're mapping out the process, you're counting, you're timing everything, and for us it was really about listening to the voice of community. Our goal is to make sure that kids have quality programs. So if that's our end goal, then we need to change our process for a lot of the way that we conduct business. Through our partnership with the Peak Academy, we were able to take the application from 26 pages down to 12, and we're still working on it. My goal is to get it down to 4 pages. We've seen a 29% increase in new applicants applying for our funds. And we also saw a 69% increase in fully funded applicants. So this is, again, very inspiring. We're hearing positive feedback from community. I went to a meeting a couple weeks back and one of our community members said, you know, I've seen such a difference in the way OCA has really provided funds to community. Thank you so much. And that to me is just like, let's keep going.
OCA has the right people in it to be able to identify where the needs are in the community. What's important for future grant making when it's government to community partnerships is that there are people who come from community who are directly impacted and who know the issues leading this work. So that way we can expand impact across the city, across states, and across the nation.
We began doing work with the PEAK team, I believe in 2019, to think about how we can put equity into all of their programming and look at not only efficiencies, but how to build back equitably. We've begun to infuse equity into those trainings and processes. And it can be anything from if one individual employee wants to do an innovation because they see something inequitable in their corner of the work, that's hugely important, and we support that because we know that inequities compound. It's the same thing is true for when you create equity. Small incremental changes lead to big change. And so whether it's an individual working on a small project or an entire team looking to overhaul a process, we work with the PEAK team to help them do that.